Good afternoon, everyone. Hope all is well, and I hope you're doing well in this week, whatever you're up to. So, today we are going to be going live. Actually, today is the day of motivational speaking, and I have got two motivational speakers who are going to get up here and they're going to talk about what motivation is. And the first guest to come on here is Daniel from Emotional. Here we go, sent it over. So we're going to be chatting about what does it take to motivate people, and I think Daniel's going to talk about his um, letting go platform, which he does motivational speaking on. And here we are.
Hey,
Daniel,
how you doing?
good, and yourself?
I'm very good, thank you.
Apologies, it took me a while to get on here. I was just finishing off an email before I started the live. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's okay.
how's
How are you doing?
everything?
You well?
Good, good, all is well. Thank you so much for coming on this live to share the knowledge in terms of what you do, and also spreading the positivity in all
Thank you.
this negative environment that we are in. We already discussed that over our conversation, but I want to keep that separate. So it's a pleasure to have you on. Before we start the conversation, if you can introduce yourself as to who you are and what exactly is it that you do so that we can get the conversation going.
Okay. I do quite a few things, as you know, but one of the things I do is emotional empowerment. I ran a business for many years, but now I basically help people with their emotions through letting go. I run meditation classes as well. I do public speaking too. So all designed to help empower the person in a unique way.
That is absolutely amazing. There are a lot of people doing all sorts of motivational speaking, and but this is the first I've had you here where you actually take on people's emotions and tell them to how to get over that. So
Um,
it's good to be discussing that. But I want to take you a few years back into your childhood, teenage age, when we're all growing up and we see a lot of different careers in front of us, like becoming an engineer, an architect, a property consultant, a realtor, a businessman, entrepreneur, it'd be a musician, actor. What is it that you aspired to become when you were growing up in school days, college going days? What did you want to do?
to be honest with you, when I was at school, I wanted to be an astronaut.
You are the second person to come on here on my live and say that. That's absolutely amazing. Why did you think about being an astronaut?
I don't know. It's something that always fascinated me. I've done physics with astronomy at university.
Oh, wow.
It's always I've always been a bit of a space cadet in my younger days anyway. So yeah, no, it's something that I just loved to know about what's out there, that perhaps there's life on other planets. Yeah.
Alien sort of life, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that's a different subject. We're not going to go there, but yeah.
But what cut you short in terms of applying to NASA?
To be honest with you, it's a lot of hard work. So, but for me,
Then why do they
uh,
say, why do they have that proverb, especially in England? It's not rocket science, is it?
well, yeah, well, it certainly is rocket science if you apply for, to work for NASA. But yeah, ultimately, I realized that I could have followed my dream, but it would have meant that I would have had to work in physics, engineering, and I don't think I was ready to do that yet. I quite like people,
Okay. And did you
as
did
in like
you did
a
you
people person.
absolutely? I mean, did you carry that school, college, university, or did you drop it somewhere in the middle?
Say that again. I missed that.
I was just saying that the aspiration that you had to become an astronaut, did you carry that from school through to university, or did you drop it somewhere?
I basically dropped it. It's one of those things when you're a kid, you want to be an astronaut, you want to be, it's just the way it is. But, when I got to university, I realized my path wasn't there. And it wasn't until I actually left university. I knew at some point I wanted to start a business though.
Okay. And that was at the time of university that you thought that, okay, I want to leave that behind and start moving on with running my own business. Was that the case?
It was always the case because I come from a business-minded family. So pretty much I would talk about it with my cousin, would talk about ways of making money, and it was to do with that as initially. But later on down the line, I switched my perspective, and it wasn't, it didn't become about money. It just changed. Because ultimately, the only reason we're seeking money is to bring a feeling to us that we think money will give us. We think buying a house, buying a car is going to bring us a feeling. And we're going to be comfortable. We're going to feel secure. We're going to feel happy. But that's never the case.
And why is that not the case? I mean, everyone, the whole world is driving behind earning money, earning a good living so that they can buy that house, they can buy that car, they can feel secure. So why is it that you believe differently, that it's not about money, because ultimately it does not give you that security? Why do you think that way?
Because ultimately the reason we feel the way we do is got nothing to do with something external to us. So for example, I help people deal with their emotions, the emotions that they've locked in, hidden, suppressed within themselves. And now if you have suppressed emotions from childhood, which most adults have done, like I'm 45 years of age, so I've been spending a lifetime of suppressing emotions, probably less than the average person because I do this work. Those are the feelings that create the discontent within ourselves, the sadness that we've suppressed, the anger that we've suppressed. And we believe that by getting something external to us, it's going to bring us joy, and it will temporarily, but it's a superficial joy. Only when we start removing these blocks within ourselves, then we start to see what is actually already there, that we are already joyful, we're already happy, it's just all covered. And so ultimately, by striving to get money, to get status, to get recognition, we're trying to get a feeling that is already inside of us, but we're just approaching it the wrong way.
And
does that make sense?
This is what I wanted to ask you. In your eyes, how do you make it the right way? What's the right way to go about it and get those? I mean, just an example. To buy a house, you need money, right?
Yes.
So, and if I don't have that house, I'm going to feel sad. My emotions are not going to be right, and that may drag me back all the time until I get to where I want to be. So how can being happy and joyful take me out of that mindset, which I'm already working on to get that house and earning that money to get that house?
Well, it's not, it's to do with the motivation why you want it. Do you want the house because you want to feel better about yourself? Because when we're completely honest, we may find that that is actually the case, that we want a house, we want a faster car, we want all this to feel better about ourselves, or to have some sort of status so that people see us or something like that. We've got to be honest with ourselves if we're doing that, because it's fine to have a beautiful house, to have, to have all of this, but are you doing that? Are you getting those, having a beautiful house to make yourself feel better? Because if you're doing that, that's never going to work. By all means, have a nice house, have all of that, but at the same time, deal with the core issue within yourself about why you feel the way you do. Run away from it by getting a fancy house or more status or all of that. You know, deal with the underlying emotions, release all those blocks, all those negativity, and then you'll be joyful, but with a nice house.
Question. The fact that you deal with turning negativity into positivity for a lot of people, you deal with people, you speak to people. How can someone take out that block from their heart and move forward? What is the key to that?
Okay, so let's say, for example, give me an example that's something that you're struggling with. Let's say you want to, you don't know, let's say, how to have enough money to buy a house.
Question.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
For example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about that, there's a feeling. There's a feeling that is, oh no, I don't earn enough. You know, I haven't got the right job. And there's a feeling underneath all of that, a feeling of I cannot. That feeling is the gateway to the solution of a problem at the emotional level. Now, you can work with a level of thought and you can change your belief systems with thought, but it's very difficult to do unless you address that core underlying feeling. So let's say if you have this block around...
How would you get to the core? How would you figure out that underlying feeling?
The point is that feeling will come up whenever you think about getting that. So when it comes up, rather than avoiding it or creating a story or adding to the story, you just feel it's out. And every feeling that is felt to completion will eventually die. For example, you have feelings of sadness, feelings of anger, feelings of annoyance. All feelings, when you feel them for long enough, from a place of detachment, will eventually die. However, if you keep adding to the story, adding to, oh my God, it's not going to work, you're just adding to it. You're adding to the feeling rather than allowing it to dissolve naturally. And this is what we humans are really bad at doing.
We keep adding our feelings on top of that feeling.
Adding, yeah. We keep adding to a story, creating more difficulty instead of allowing the feeling to dissolve naturally. And sometimes feelings can dissolve within 10 seconds, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 days, even a week for really strong feelings. So if you have a huge block around money and every time you think about money, it's a heavy feeling in your chest, feel it. And when you feel it, it will eventually dissolve. And then all of a sudden, you're going to feel that you have less limitations around money. You feel better around money because you've dissolved the emotional energy underneath it. Yeah. And the more you dissolve, the more times you do this, and you'll get reminders about money each time you get a bill and you think you can't pay it, or each time you get that, or each time you dream of yourself in a particular place, you'll get a feeling that resists that goes against your dream. You'll think, I don't really believe it. And that is just a feeling that can be dissolved. When it's dissolved, then
what can someone do to dissolve that feeling?
Just stay with it. It's as simple as that. Because feelings will dissolve. If you want it to dissolve, that's a want. That's a feeling in itself which will resist the original feeling. So you have to let go of wanting it to dissolve as well. Does that make sense?
Wow. I mean, just to get to the core of it, you have to sort of put your mind into it in terms of how you're going to go about, firstly, figuring out what that feeling is, and then keeping on top of that so you dissolve that feeling. It's wow.
You don't even need to figure it out. You just feel it.
Yeah.
It's not a mental game. It's not a mental exercise. Feelings come before thought. So, for example, all these people that are saying, okay, think this. When you think, what you think becomes your reality. When you work at the emotional level, you work at a layer deeper than a layer of thought, because emotion, before you are a thinking being, you are an emotional being. So any emotions you have stuck around, for example, money, yeah, can be felt and can be dissolved. And then all of a sudden you feel more comfortable around money. And from that come the thoughts that I can rather than I cannot.
Okay. Good. I mean,
Yeah.
it is really intense of what you're saying. I mean, when someone comes up to you and they're not in the right state of mind or emotionally or mentally, could there be other factors than money, or mainly everything is driven with that money feeling that everyone has around? I mean, if you see, for example, if you see Instagram, thousands of people or millions of people, all they keep posting is about nice cars, nice houses, you
Yeah.
know, traveling the world and all that kind of stuff. And then when other people see it, they either feel jealous or they feel, why can't I have that life? Or what's wrong with me? Why am I sitting in this dead end job and I can't get anywhere? You know, so how can people sort of figure out of how to go about leading a better life?
So what I use and what I've used in my business for many years is basically exactly what I've been telling you. When you have these feelings of jealousy, they're just feelings that can be dissolved. And it may take some time to dissolve these feelings because they come from a deep insecurity. But when you're done, then all of a sudden you're not going to be jealous, and you're going to see a different, you're going to see people like that in a different light. Yeah. But as long as those feelings are there, they're the block that will stop you from moving forward. So, you know, for me, this is the way I do it. And other people would say, okay, change your thoughts.
Okay.
Now, if you want to change your thoughts, you have to know how to change them at the deepest level.
Exactly, because I could be talking to you right now and I come to you for a consultation, or I come to your seminar or something like that, and I listen to everything that you say. But the moment I hit outside the door, boom, all those thoughts come to my mind again, all those feelings come again. How am I going to earn my living in the next hour, the next day, the next month, you know, all that kind of stuff. So how can people suppress those thoughts once they have come to you and listen to you and start dealing with what you say to them, experiment that in their life? How do they do that?
So this is it. The most important thing. So the most important aspect of what I do and what anything is, no matter what you do, whether you do self-development, you do visualization, affirmation, emotional release, letting go, it doesn't matter. It's your will. It's your will to live a different life. For example, if you're having problems in a relationship, or with your mum or your dad, it's your will to choose love over hate, to choose connection over disconnection. It's your will to choose a better life for yourself. That is the only real thing that will make a difference. There's nothing else. Yeah. If you get stuck into that mindset, yeah, where you're constantly thinking negative, it is your will that takes you out of that. Yeah. It's by feeling my emotions and allowing the emotion to dissolve. So I don't have that mindset. So you can do that. It doesn't matter what we do. It only comes down to your will. That's the key. Yeah, there's nothing else really that matters. Doesn't matter what technique you use, anything. It comes down to that, to your ability to want it, to see the world differently. You know, it's about relationships as well. It's about health. It's everything. You know, for example, you can let go of your blocks around health. You can let go of your blocks around money. You can let go of your blocks around, and when the feeling comes up and it's really strong and you cannot believe you do, you still stick with it. You don't give up. You don't go on the internet. You don't go distracting yourself or drink alcohol or just distract yourself. You stay with it until it dissolves, or until you feel differently, and then you can then you'll find things around you change. But if you keep You know, if you keep stuck in the old programs, and you still, you don't have the willpower, so it's never gonna work.
How can someone build on willpower? This is an important point. How can someone get that willpower to dissolve a feeling, or get stuck with that feeling to get to dissolve it out? How can someone do that?
Just practice. It's like visualization. If I say to you, visualize every day you're gonna have this beautiful relationship. Yeah. How many people are actually going to do that? Sit down and do it, and definitely sit down and really feel it, because there'll be a time when they're doing it, and all their old feelings will come up, and then it's really unpleasant. They can't do it, and they give up. How many people can really do that? Yeah. That's you know, and everyone's born into this life differently. You know, some people have. I had a really difficult childhood. Other people are more privileged. It just, everyone's different. So some people have more baggage, and it's much harder for them. And I understand that completely. I really do get that, but I know it can be done, because, you know, for me, I chose love when any other person could have chosen hate. Yeah, for, you know, a specific person in my life, I kept on choosing love no matter what, even when they were doing the opposite to me. They were not a nice person, and I was like, no matter what, I'm going to choose love for this person. And whatever comes up, whatever I feel that's opposite to that, I will feel out, I'll let go, and I'll keep choosing it. And as a result, that relationship started to change, and other relationships started to change. But that's the most important thing, to actually just have the will to do that, to keep choosing that path no matter what. If you do that, it will work, it will succeed, but it's not easy, because your feelings will stop you.
And possibly for that, someone may need your help.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it in certain my life. You know, I've done it through my business. I have worked on myself, letting go of my blocks around business, and it's become easier to do business after that point.
How easy is it for you to, obviously, you've got two things right here. The business that you are doing, you're dealing with people's emotions, right? How do you go about looking at or thinking about business, and then thinking about those people's values or feelings or emotions? How do you put them two together, and how do you work yourself out? How do you stay positive amongst these things all the time?
Well, ultimately, I don't run my business anymore. Someone else runs it. Okay. So I don't really have that. I don't have to worry about that. However, with regards to other things I do, everything is a gift. So, for example, if I'm speaking to you, and all of a sudden you tell me about your relationship, and when you tell me, all of a sudden I feel sadness, that is the gift to me. That is the universe bringing me the gift of sadness, so I can release it. When I release it, I can connect better with you. Okay? Okay. So whatever happens in your life that you get emotionally charged about is a gift, because it helps you to release that emotional charge that is triggered in that moment. And when you release it, you're not limited by that charge. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
so, you know,
I think yeah. you've applied the science that you learned, or the physics that you learned at school, college, and university within this emotional, because obviously it's all about, even emotions and relations are all about science, right? How you feel about that person, positivity, negativity, all that kind of stuff, how you are attracted to, whether it be your parents, your life partner, or your business. You know, all of those things are attracted by the feeling that you have against that person or thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I see, like I said, everything is a gift. the difficult situation, the difficult people, the challenges, it's all a gift to help us. And the feelings that come up are the gateway, are the keys, are the gateways to the resolution of that issue. So there's no real, you can say, you can look at things as, oh, this is happening. But if you know how to look at it from a feeling perspective, you can understand that feeling I feel in that moment, I can let go of. And when I let go of it, I'll have a resolution to this issue. Always. And that's the most amazing thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's been absolutely amazing talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on here. I mean, one live session, half an hour is not enough for all of this, but it gives an idea to the people that, look, there are people like yourself out there dealing with this. So if anyone wants to let go, then they should get in touch with you. So thank you so much for coming on here, Daniel. But before you go, you shared all this knowledge about how you do it and what should a person do in terms of when they feel negative or whatever the feeling, it may be sad or happy or they're thinking about money. But before you go, I want to talk to you. I want you to give a positive advice to the world. We've spoken about the negativity that's around us before on the phone. What positive advice would you like to share with the world today so that they can take that on board and move forward in life?
I reckon the most important thing to do is to make a choice, make an intention each and every moment to view the world from the most positive state you can. View the world, make that intention and keep making that choice, that any story that comes up that is negative, you're going to drop. You're going to drop the story. You're not going to add to it. You're just going to drop it. Yeah, keep doing that over and over and over again, and you will find you have a much, much, much better life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But thank you so much for coming on here, sharing all that with us. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we will definitely cross paths again. Thank you so much.
We will, I'm sure. All right, then. You take care.
Thank you.
Lovely chat. Bye-bye.
So that was Daniel from Emotional Release Guru. If you are wanting to let go of your emotions and negative feelings, do give him a shout out. Check out his profile and see what he does and how he does it. It was absolutely amazing talking to Daniel. Thank you to Daniel for coming on here. Thank you to all the viewers that tuned in. It's a pleasure. And I'll see you again at 6 p.m. where I've got another motivational speaker, a podcaster who's going to be joining me. So see you then. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.